We will be beginning our practice today in a child's pose, taking a moment to ground our breathing and allow ourselves to fully come into our practice today. Breathing in and out through the nose. And once we take a few deep breaths in child's pose, it's going to slowly come up to hands and knees and do a few cat-cows. So you want to inhale, dropping your belly, and exhale, arching your back, tucking the chin. Inhale into cow, exhale into cat. Inhaling, dropping that belly into cow. Exhaling, tucking the chin, arching the back into cat. Just do that for a couple of breaths at your own pace. And we're just going to meet back at a neutral spine and begin to make circles with our hips. Loosening up those hips. Really connecting with our core here. We're going to rotate and take it the other way. I'm making sure that we are staying balanced in our practice today. Remembering to breathe. And when we're done with that, I'm grabbing my blocks so that they're in position when I'm ready for them. And here we're just going to extend those legs out behind us one at a time, stretching out those calf muscles. And we'll firmly plant our hands under our elbows and push back into a down dog. And I do have a bit of a wider down dog to allow for room for the baby. You see me walking my dog here, which just means I'm alternating, bending my knees to allow me to get a little deeper into my down dog pose here. We're just going to slowly walk those feet up to meet our hands, coming into a forward fold. I will be doing a wide leg forward fold. Either is fine. And I'm using my blocks to bring the floor a little closer to me. I'm also doing this kind of ski slope move here, just to loosen up my legs, finding some movement, playing around here, wiggling my head yes and no to relieve tension in my neck. We're going to inhale, coming all the way up, inhaling those arms up overhead, palms together, and bringing the feet in just a little bit. We're going to squat down into our yogi squat here, or garland pose. Taking a few deep breaths. Exhale, pushing back up into a wide leg forward fold. Again, finding some movement here. Nodding your head yes and no to relieve any tension in the neck. Gonna inhale, come flat back. Exhale, release back down to our forward fold. Remembering to breathe. You need to keep a slight bend in your knees, that's totally fine. And here I am stepping my left foot back, coming into a full lunge. My hands are in the inside of my leg, my right leg. Going to drop that back knee, finding our balance here, coming up onto our knee. And you can stay like that, or if you'd like, you can lift up that back leg. Nice little stretch here. And releasing that back leg. Coming up off of that knee, back into my high lunge. And exhaling, sending that front foot back into a down dog. Finding my positioning here for my down dog. Remembering here that you can keep a slight bend in your knees if necessary. Walk your dog, alternating, bending those knees. Helps you get a little deeper into the pose. Excuse me. I'm going to look forward and slowly walk our feet back up to meet our hands. Coming into a wide leg forward fold. Inhale and exhale, nodding that head yes and no. And come up flat back. Exhale down, forward fold. And inhale, arms all the way up, palms together at the top. Exhaling down into a yogi squat. Remembering to breathe here. It's easy to hold our breath in this pose, so just make sure that you are mindfully breathing. Push back up into our forward fold here. Nodding our heads yes and no, relieving any tension. Finding some movement in those legs and in those hips. Here I'm adjusting my height. I'm a little bit warmer, so I'm going to come up half back. Exhale, forward fold. And this time we're going to leave that right foot forward, coming into a full lunge. Finding our balance here. We're going to relax that left knee coming up. And you can stay here, or if you'd like, you can reach for that back foot. Remembering to breathe here. Beautiful sunlight coming out. Good. Release that back leg, lifting up on those back toes. We're going to send that right foot back to meet the left, coming into a downward dog. Continuing to breathe, walking your dog. You're going to look forward, slowly walking those feet forward, coming into a forward fold. Finding movement here, getting a little deeper into that forward fold now that we're a little warmer. And nod your head yes and no to relieve any tension. And inhale, come to flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bringing our arms all the way up to the sky like before. Palms together, exhaling down into our garland pose or our yogi squat. And now that we're a little warmer here, we're going to find some length in this pose. So you see me placing my right arm on my block and lifting up my left. This is optional. You can stay with your hands in prayer position if you'd like. If you'd like a little bit more of a challenge, try what you see me doing here, finding that length. And exhale, pushing back up into our wide leg forward fold, nodding our head yes and no to relieve any tension. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. I'm going to step back, coming into our down dog here, sending those hips up towards the ceiling and the wall, where I like to think of it as where the ceiling and the wall meet. So you want to send your hips up in that direction. And we're going to drop down onto our hands and knees and sit our glutes back, coming into a child's pose here. So taking a little rest, reconnecting with our breath, tapping into our bodies, checking in and seeing how we feel before moving on to the next part of our practice today. Good. We're just going to come back up onto our hands and knees here. And we're going to send that right foot back, or that left foot, I'm sorry, tucking those toes, extending that right hand, and then lifting that left foot off of the ground, coming into a bird dog pose, okay? It's wonderful for your core, a little yoga for the brain too. Alright, and whatever we do to one side, we do to the other. So now we're going to extend that right foot and that left arm, coming into that bird dog pose on the opposite side. Remembering to breathe. Wonderful. And a few cat-cows here, moving at your own pace. Syncing with your own breath. Inhaling into cow and exhaling into cat. We'll come back into a neutral back and curl those toes and push back into your down dog. Finding some length here. Walking the dog, alternating those knees. We'll walk those feet forward to meet our hands. Coming into a wide leg forward fold, nodding the head yes and no. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Finding some movement here once more. Remember to listen to your body. Find what works for you. Again, inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, arms all the way up overhead. Palms meeting at the very top. Exhaling down into our yogi squat. And again, finding that openness here, breathing, extending the arm up. Or maybe you are more comfortable staying in prayer pose. Find what works for you. If you'd like to challenge yourself, give it a try. Good. Pushing back up, coming into your wide leg forward fold. Shaking your head yes and no, relieving any tension in the neck. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. We're going to firmly plant that right foot and send that left foot behind us, rotating that heel down onto the mat, opening up, coming into your lunge here, extended side angle. I went for a bind, but you can leave that arm up if you'd like. Bringing those toes back, sending that right foot back, coming into a down dog. Reconnecting with our breath here. Walking the dog. Gonna lift that left leg up this time, bringing it forward and on the outside of our hands. Coming into that full expression of your lunge. And then rotating that heel onto the mat so that your right foot is at a 45-degree angle or 90-degree angle more so, extending that right arm, coming into that extended side angle. Good. Spiraling back down, turning that back foot, curling those toes, sending your front foot back into a down dog. Finding some movement here, maybe bending the knees. We're just going to come onto our hands and knees now. I'm moving my blocks off to the side as I sit back into my child's pose for a rest. Yoga is very slow and steady, but you'd be surprised at how much heat you build up. Resting is always a great idea. Alright, wonderful. Now we're just going to come onto our knees, coming into a hero's pose. Just connecting with our breath here. We're going to come up onto our knees. And I'm preparing for a slight back bend, almost a camel, but not really. Just going to place my hands on the lower part of my back and slowly begin to lean back. Oh, excuse me, guys. Slowly begin to lean back. If you'd like, you can take it all the way back to your full camel. We're going to meet back, inhaling those arms up, and exhaling, coming back down into your hero's pose. Alright, I'm just going to swing those legs around, bringing the soles of our feet together. And coming into a butterfly pose here. Maybe flapping the knees. Just breathing. And we're just going to put our legs in a figure four. So I have my right leg extended first, and I have my left sole of my foot bent into my thigh. And here I'm just using my block as a guide. You can also use a strap, a yoga strap. And we're just stretching out that leg here. Can open up to the side like you see me doing. This is comfy for me so that my stomach has space. It's a little more tight when I'm facing my leg from my tummy for baby, so opening up to the side is more comfortable for me. Okay, and after a few breaths there, just going to open up our legs into like a straddle and take a nice stretch here. I like using my block to bring the floor closer to me. You can play with the different levels here. The main thing is just making sure that you are not shrugging your shoulders, making sure that you are maintaining the integrity of your posture. So if that means that you are not as low as you'd like to be, that's okay, because posture and form is so important. You'll get that depth the more you grow in your practice. But posture and form are key, okay? And here you just see me kind of rotating my neck, relieve some tension, rotating my ankles. And I'm using that block as a resting point, okay? I'm going to sit back up straight here. And we're just going to bend that right leg in now, creating that figure 4 shape with our legs. And we're going to extend towards our left leg this time, stretching out in that direction. And just like on my other side, I will be shifting my weight to the inside so that my tummy has more room, as you can see here. We're just going to keep breathing, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Wonderful. We're going to release that, and then we're going to come into our straddle one last time. Maybe see if we can get a little deeper the second time around. You see me just reconnecting with my breath and my body and my posture here. And once I feel grounded, I am allowing myself to play within this pose, finding length, using my block, nodding my head yes and no to relieve any tension that I may feel in my spine or in my neck. I really like using my block in this stretch because it's a wonderful indicator and it allows me to really gauge how deep I am getting in this stretch in comparison to the time before. Yoga blocks are just great in general. So I've come onto my forearms here on the second height of my yoga block. Just really milking this stretch for all that it's worth. It's the last time that we'll be here, so continuing to breathe and coming back up to an upright position. And placing the soles of your feet onto the floor or your mat, and windshield wiper the knees to relieve any tension that may be built up in the lower back. Just remembering to breathe here. Now we're just going to transition onto our backs. And before we go into our Savasana, I'm going to do a couple more poses here. So the first is going to be bridge pose. You're just going to bring the palms of the hands down onto the floor. And once you are grounded through the soles of your feet, now lift up your pelvis, coming into your bridge pose. Clasp the hands if you like. Just remembering to breathe. And slowly, one vertebra at a time, coming back down onto the mat. Windshield wiper our legs here before we go into our bridge pose once again. And here you see me setting up, just going to ground in the heels and in the soles of our feet and sending up the pelvis, coming into your bridge pose. This is the final one. You can clasp the hands if you'd like for a little challenge. We're going to exhale and dropping back down onto our mat here. And now you just see me grabbing the outsides of my feet here, of the soles of my feet, and rocking back and forth. Call this pose Happy Baby. Your back, your lower back, a little massage. And once we're done there, just going to transition into our Savasana. I will be taking my Savasana on my side as always because it is more comfortable for me during my pregnancy to do so. But if you are not pregnant, feel free to take your Savasana lying on your back. And we take this time just to allow our practice for the day to integrate. This is one of the most important parts of your yoga practice, in my opinion. Allowing your breath to become deeper, allowing yourself to release all that no longer serves you. Breathing, being. And slowly bring our awareness back to our bodies, deepening the breath, maybe wiggling the toes, wiggling the fingertips, keeping the eyes closed here, just allowing yourself to ground back into your physical body. Taking your time here. And if you are on your back, want to go ahead and shift onto your side, coming into a fetal position, keeping your eyes closed. And when you're ready, we're just going to slowly use our hands to push ourselves up, coming back into a comfortable seated position, keeping the eyes closed here, allowing your breath to deepen. We're going to inhale those arms all the way up to the sky, palms together at the top, exhaling down, heart center. One last time, inhaling arms all the way up and exhaling down, heart center. Namaste.